So I just got done listening to the 5-minute video of country singer Jelly Roll talking to Congress about fentanyl. And it was a very moving video. And it was very good to see him talking to Congress and expressing his concern and expressing his feelings on the whole issue. I want to say up front that I'm not a fan of Jelly Roll's music. I threw a whole lot of shade in the past at the country rap genre. I've never been a fan. I've took plenty of shots at them over the years because I'm just not a fan. But I do remember the first time that I ever heard Jelly Roll singing. I was working in a place where we would listen to a rock station one day and a country station the next. And I always dreaded the country day because I can't stand mainstream country these days. And I remember the first time I heard the song Son of a Sinner, and then I heard the one where he says, I only talk to God when I need a favor. I just remember hearing those and going, who is that? That sounds different. That doesn't sound like your everyday bro country dude, you know? It's like, that sounds different. I was like, who is that? People's like, well, that's Jelly Roll. And I didn't know who he was. So I go looking into his music, and I find out that he does a lot of the country rap and the stuff they call hip hop. And I was like, well, I'm probably never going to buy one of this guy's albums or go to one of his shows. But then I just started stumbling across videos of him talking. And it was kind of like the old Levon Helm song where he says, I can't stand the way he sings, but I love the way he talks. I started enjoying hearing him talk about things and hearing his life story. It was an interesting story. He's a convicted felon. He used to be a drug dealer. He spent time in jail, and now he's out, trying to get his life together. And as someone who is recovering himself, it was something that I could relate to. And from that point, I really didn't care about the music. I was just like interested just to hear him talk. And now he's sitting there talking before Congress in one of the most heartfelt speeches that I ever heard. Now, even though he was pushing forward for a bill that was brought up by Democrat Sherrod Brown, he made it clear that he wasn't on either side of the political aisle, and that because he was a felon, he had never been allowed to vote. So he said he had never paid attention to a presidential race in his life. He brought across so many great points, talking about how that 190 people a day die of drug overdoses. He was talking about how that if that many people died in a plane crash every day, it would be national news. We would be talking about it. We would be talking about the problem. But it being drug addicts, people don't talk about it enough. You could tell that he was speaking from the heart and that he meant what he said. And I really believe that it's time that so many of us just come forward and use our platforms for the greater good. And when it comes to drug addiction and overdoses and all the tragedy that comes with all of that, all the people who have lost their lives to it and all the people who have lost loved ones, and all the pain and suffering that it still causes this day, I wish we could just take politics off the table. I'll tell you this much. I will stop my Trump bashing, and I will roll up my sleeves and go to work for that. If you guys will stop your Biden bashing, and we just work together to fix that problem. Because I can tell you that when I stood at the graves of my friends that I lost, I wasn't thinking about who they voted for. I wasn't thinking about the next election. I wasn't thinking about that at all. And so I think it's time that we pump the brakes and we stop and think about this really long and hard. It's not politics. It's not Trump versus Biden. It's not MAGA versus the left. It's not those things. I recorded a video for the Midas Touch Network, and they was kind enough to allow me to post it on their platform. And I was talking about my own struggles. And it's the first time that I've ever opened up and talked about this stuff, because it ain't an easy thing to talk about. It's easy to stay quiet about it because sometimes it's just too painful to bring up. But when I sit there and listen to Jelly Roll, I'm like, I feel kind of bad that I ain't been talking more about it. I've had opportunities to talk about it in the past, and I didn't, just because I've never wanted to be a hypocrite. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've been to rehab, I've struggled with addiction, but I still slip up from time to time. And the one thing that I stand on so hard and I scream at so hard is hypocrisy. And so I've never wanted to be a hypocrite about it. I still drink from time to time. I have cigars. That's one of the things that, it may not be the best thing we could put in our body, but it's one of the things that's kind of helped me to not fall back into other bad habits. But I guess the reason why I never talked about it is, people would say, are you in recovery? And I'd say to myself, I've never recovered from nothing. I'm still in shock. I'm still in, uh, I'm still in the eye of the hurricane. I may have been able to beat certain things or certain things I ain't touched in years, but I still wake up every day craving it. I still wake up every day, wanting to succumb to it. And, that's why I spend a lot of my time doing what I do. It's therapeutic. There was a time that, writing songs and playing music was my therapy. Now it's sitting here talking to you guys into my phone. And I know there's a lot of people that hates my guts, and that's cool. Go right ahead. Hate me all day long. I don't care. Um, but this is all me sitting here doing what I do is therapeutic. Helps get me through the day. Jelly Roll said he wasn't on either side of the aisle. I'd be a liar if I said that. I'm a bleeding heart liberal, and I'm proud of it. And fuck anybody in the Bible Belt that don't like it. But we can take all that off the table. And I don't give a damn who Jelly Roll would have voted for if he had the opportunity. And I don't give a damn who this guy over here would have voted for. I just really wish that we could get past all of that and get down to fixing a problem. It too many times just gets used as a wedge issue, and it gets turned into the wrong kind of scare tactic. Yeah, you should be fucking scared of it. But it gets used and it gets weaponized in a political way that's never healthy and never moves the conversation forward. And that's what I want to do, is move the conversation forward. And if that means, we talk alongside of a country rapper with tattoos on his face, brother, I'll sit there and do it. I won't listen to your music. But can we just agree to listen to some Haggard together while we do it? That'd be cool. But no, I applaud Jelly Roll for what he had to say, and I applaud him for having the courage to do it. And I applaud him for. I hope that the people in his audience pays very close attention to it. That's the kind of thing I like seeing people use their platform for. And so good on him.